and welcome to the Gamers Table. It is Monday, and we are reviewing
Aeroplanes. This is a very dry Euro game.
Aeroplanes explains the dawn of commercial aviation, the exciting era between 1919 and 1939. Experience the difficulties and triumphs of commercial airlines in Europe as they pioneered airports and service in continental Europe and around the world. Aviation spurred the growth of intercontinental travel, and airlines struggled to dominate the regions of the globe that they served. Rapid technological advances in planes play a vital role in air transport. Develop as you compete to purchase more efficient airplanes, build airports to move passengers around the globe, earn bonus and prestige points to be the first to fly in North America, win by maintaining those airports in each of the different regions around the world, and running your airline profitably.
There's definitely some douchebaggery involved with the replacing of your opponent's airports.
The turns are quick in this.
Yeah, turns are definitely quick in this. There's really not a lot to do on them, but they do matter.
There's a fair bit of setup. We got a big board.
Big board.
And one of the things you need to do is load up all the passenger spaces in the starting cities with the passenger cheats. And you need to separate out the money, the advantages, the cards, the airplane cards go in order, similar to the automobiles in Automobile, and it's a similar way to buying them, not exactly the same. Everyone gets a set of 27 airport tiles, 9 of the first, second, and third era. One of your first era tiles will be marked home. That's the only airport that can never be replaced.
Every time it goes around the table once, the player who has the starting player dice rolls the dice, and you count that many players by the pips, and then they become the new starting player, and then the round starts at their turn, which is unique. I mean, it's harder to plan. It's sort of like you don't know exactly when you're going to get your turn, so sometimes you can get messed up with the turn order, but it's also something, it's just hard to remember sometimes. I kind of like the mechanic, but it's also it's mostly just annoying. Like, it does mess around with the turn order, so you can't know for sure if it's your turn.
So when you lay the airplanes out in order, you're supposed to have 12 of them out there, 1 to 12, and people can buy the first one in the line or the second one in the line for $1 plus. Or if you want to buy the fourth one in the line, you'd buy that for $3 plus. However many planes you skip, you have to add $1 for each one. Or a pound.
A pound.
And you also put 8 of the $1 pounds bonds on the subsidy thing. When they're all gone and the subsidy knob gets taken, the
knob takes a subsidy token.
So once you've got all that done, you're ready to pick your color and then pick your airport.
Starting airport, yes.
Yes.
Your home airport.
That's the one you can never lose, you can never be kicked out of.
Which is important.
Very important in this game. You don't want to lose your position on these starting cities here.
Everyone starts with the same amount of money. Like in the first era, money is modified by the starting city they begin in, and obviously there's advantages and disadvantages to starting in different. Like Paris is nice and central, and it has 5 passenger tokens in it to start, which is definitely a huge advantage.
And each one's either got a bonus or a negative to their starting values, their starting income.
That's where all the passengers are. If you don't control a lot of those spots, you have a lot less choice in which passengers you can grab.
And if you're not in any of those spots, you got no choice whatsoever.
Well, you're going to be in one spot for sure.
Well, one, you're home, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that really doesn't give you much choice.
The planes themselves that you buy have different values of passenger slots on them. Some will take very few, some will take a lot. Some of them are long distance planes that are able to take the long distance routes or skip over cities when they're establishing a route, which is what this game is about, getting your airports in as many different cities as possible so you can take passengers from as many different places as possible and hopefully not get shut out when the douchebaggery starts happening in the second era. One of the things I find with this game that can make or break your entire game is the placement of the passenger tiles, because the passenger tiles can be all ones that aren't going to cities that you have an airport in. And while you're struggling to get an airport into those cities to try and get some of these passengers, the other guys who have airports in those cities are taking those passengers, and there's less and less available for you.
It's a bit of a fight in Europe trying to control as many passenger destinations as possible.
And to collect those passengers, you really need to be on the main starting areas to get them, first of all. And you need to be on the locations that they want to go to be able to grab those passengers in those particular cities.
It's a bit of risk management, which is a little bit strange for what is really just a dry Euro. Well, not just a dry Euro, but I think that's one thing I like about Aeroplanes, and that I'm pretty sure Craig likes about too, is the fact that it's not just a dry cube pusher. There's a little bit more to it. There's the risk with rolling the dice. There's the risk because someone can be a total douchebag to you in this game. I mean, not that you can't be a douchebag in Euros. There's certainly... But it's just a different flavor.
Wrapping up for Aeroplanes, Aviation Ascendant. The theme is the building of airports and the airplane industry in 1919 to 1939. It covers it mostly. It's a little dry, unfortunately, but I think it's a historical game. But the turns are very fast, as I mentioned before. You're not waiting 15 minutes for somebody to decide like in some other games. It's just like, I do my thing. You go, one action, just do it. And it goes around. If you're really get behind, just take the subsidies. Let's end this age before this guy gets farther ahead of me.
Yeah.
Easy to play. After you have played your first game and set everything out on the board and done it once, it's fairly easy to play. But going by the rules and trying to figure this game out without setting everything out was not as easy. I give Airplanes a 6.
The screw you factor is a little nasty in this game because, I mean, there's really nothing the screwy can do about it. It's like,
screwy.
I just lost my airport. Okay, well, that sucks. And then I got to try to find another airport or wait till the next era so I can get a chance to buy another airport to get back in there. So you have to be a little bit more defensive. So it makes sense to upgrade if you really don't want to get kicked out. It is fun. I enjoy this type of game. It is dry. Just trying to figure out the best way to get the passengers to where they need to go. I give Aeroplanes a 7.
Overall, I don't find the game too bad. I don't find it that long. Like the turns go pretty quickly and everything. I think the only time where it really slows down is when you're placing your airports, trying to figure out where the best place to put them is, or do you want to overwrite someone else's, or do you want to try and expand some more? That's really where most of the decision making comes in. But I do enjoy it. I'm gonna give this one a 6.5.
And that's it for this episode of the Gamers Table. Tune in next week where we review another game.
That's what we do.
What do I want to talk about? I need to talk about the bonds come in 1, 5, and 10 pound denominations, and the bonds come in 1, 5, and 10 pound denominations.
Which is why they start with 1 pound less and 1 pound less.
That's one small step for man,